Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Delhi High Court Women Lawyers Forum has written to the Chief Justice of India, bringing his attention to the circulation of hate speech videos in connection with the no violence. And it has also sought direction to the Haryana government to prevent such incidents. The Lawyers Forum has also asked CJI to act against the economic exclusion of Muslims. Now, remember, there were panchayats in Haryana which had issued diktats barring Muslims from doing business or hawking in their areas in the aftermath of the no violence, especially in Nu and Gurugram. Now, will there be an end to this economic exclusion of the Muslims? And how can the hate speech videos be stopped? Because there is another yatra on 28th, which is planned. Will the situation go out of hand? What can the CJI do? We'll discuss all of this. Joining me now is Kirti Singh Narula. She is an eminent lawyer from the Supreme Court. She was also part of the Delhi Lawyers Forum, which has written to the CJI. Thank you so much, Kirti, for joining. We have Subhashini Ali, who's a prominent CPI leader. Thank you so much for joining. And she's a Politburo member as well. Thank you so much. And we have Sriraj Nair, who's the spokesperson for the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Sriraj, thank you so much for joining. And let me begin with Kirti today. Kirti, you all have just written a letter to the CJI on two important issues. The first is, of course, the circulation of the hate speech videos. And second is the economic exclusion of the Muslims. Now, court has already said enough. We already saw what Punjab and Haryana High Court said. Now, do you think that still much more needs to be done the way the things are happening in Haryana?
Yes, much more needs to be done. And that is why we have moved the Supreme Court with a letter petition, because we think it's imperative that the Supreme Court directs and these people pay heed to the directions. That's more important, because you've seen the kind of videos that are going around. You've seen how people are extorting people not to employ anybody in Gurgaon who's a Muslim as a carpenter. And these are all poor people who lose their livelihood. And to say that nobody shall employ a Muslim as a shop in their shop, and that Muslim hawkers will not be allowed. So they're really hitting out at the lowest rung, the poorest people in our country and Muslims. And this kind of hate speech, unadulterated hate speech, has to be stopped. So we have asked for stopping of these, banning of such videos in accordance with law, stopping of such hate speech, and to track these videos and other hate speeches that are going around, because somehow the perpetrators feel that they can keep on saying anything they want. They're not scared of the law. They want to ban Muslims from and exclude them from all activity, economic activity in this country. They want their houses to be, bulldozed, and so on.
Right.
So we also ask for immediate action to be taken against these people, because unless action is taken, unless people who kill Muslim clerics, unless people who are at the forward in the profession, at the forehead of the procession, are stopped from giving these speeches. And this person went around Nu with a loudspeaker. How can that be allowed in a scooter? How can that be allowed? That if you employ, and threatening that if you employ Muslim workers, you will have to face the consequences, and threatening Muslim workers.
Right. Absolutely. Now, let me come to Subhashini and then I'll come to Sriraj. Subhashini, you recently apparently held a convention also. And what are you really observing on the ground? You've interacted with a number of people in Haryana. How is this economic exclusion happening? I really want you to describe for the viewers actual situation on the ground. Yes, Subhashini.
See, what I would like to draw the attention of the viewers to is, who is a citizen of India? And are all citizens of India equal or not? Are they all equally allowed to access the rights that have been laid down in the Constitution, in the rule of law? I think that's a very big question. Because what we are seeing is that even in Manipur, the horrible incidents of abuse of women, stripping of women, gang raping of women that has taken place, reaction from the state government and the central government that we would have expected. It is as if they are lesser citizens. And of course, what is happening in the rest of India, it is not something I would like to remind you, Neela. It's not Neelu. It's not something that's happening now. If you recall the time of the corona epidemic, at that time it was said that it was Muslims who were deliberately spreading the coronavirus, and therefore they should not be allowed to sell their vegetables, etc., in residential areas. They should not be allowed to move around freely, and so on and so forth. So this started then, and now, of course, we see even more atrocious speeches, calls for violence. And what was very terrible was what happened in Gurgaon. Of course, we've seen what happened in Mewat and in Gurgaon, where people had nothing to do with either taking out the procession or, as it is being alleged, spoon throwing on the procession. People who are domestic workers, daily wage earners, they were told to leave their busties, to get out of their homes, to leave within a certain specified time, otherwise they would be attacked. And they have, hundreds of them have left. Many of them didn't even have money for the train ticket, and whatever could be arranged was help was arranged, and they left in that way. And so once again, I come back to the point that are people who belong to religious minorities, are people who belong to Adivasi and Dalit communities, are people who happen to live in the Northeast, are they equal citizens of this country or not? And if they are equal citizens, then these kind of attacks that are being made on them, why are they not being punished? Why are the people who are flagrantly violating the law by calling for these kind of boycott, for calling for attacks on minorities and others, why are they not facing the might of the law? This is a very important question, and I would just like to add that we must always remember that women belong to communities which are being discriminated against. They are the worst sufferers. Women who leave their homes, women who lose their family members to lynching or arrest, women who are subjected to the worst kind of atrocities and the violence, they are the victims not only of this communal violence, but they are actually used, or their bodies are used as battlegrounds where these battles are being fought. And since a woman is supposed to be the receptacle of her community honor, if you attack the woman, then you are attacking the honor of that community. So all these things need to be kept in mind. And I really welcome the step that has been taken by the women lawyers in approaching the Chief Justice of India and saying that you're talking about hate speech, you're saying that hate speech is not going to be tolerated, but what are you going to do about it? Here are videos, here are recordings, here is enough evidence of what is being done. What are you going to do about it? And I would like that this kind of hatred that is being spread, it has very, very dangerous results for everybody.
Right.
I mean, in Corona, of course, it took the whole attention away from what should be done to counter Corona and epidemic by saying one community was responsible. And then we have seen the what happened in the train, where an RPF constable was so consumed with hate, he had once before also, I believe, attacked somebody from the minority community, that he killed his superior who was trying to intervene, shot him dead. And then he went from compartment to compartment looking for people who were not only Muslims but looked like Muslims.
Right.
People who had beards, people who were dressed in a certain way, and he shot 3 of them dead. So now that is terrifying people, that now are we safe anywhere?
Right.
Whatever community we may belong to, are we safe anywhere? The superior officer was not a Muslim. He was a Mina, and the 3 people who were shot were Muslims. So where's the security? Where's the safety?
Right.
Very
But I would
important
like to,
question.
yeah,
And
you
we're looking
always,
forward to the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice actually addressing these questions and assuring all citizens of India,
right.
whatever the community they belong to, that they are entitled to equal rights and equal protection of the law.
Right. I'll come back to you, Subhashini, again for the final comments, but I want to go to Sri Raj, and I'll take Subhashini's question forward as to, why is this economic exclusion happening? Why are Muslims being targeted? Is there a political message when the Muslims are being targeted? What is the government trying to tell the people? And why are they not being treated as equal citizens is what the question which Subhashini also raised. I want to ask you, Sri Raj. Yes.
So the biggest danger today the nation possesses is selective activism. I would have been very happy had Madam Subhashini Ali talked about of Kerala. She's a member of the Politburo. A 5-year girl was recently brutally raped and killed. In Kerala, the number of crimes have been increased. She will not talk about that. Now here coming back to Haryana, let me, sorry. Coming back to Haryana, there was a procession was taken out with all the required permissions, and it was definitely of the duty of the state government to provide protection to the yatra. I am saying maybe some video might be circulated, but does that mean the yatra be attacked right, left, and center, and women, children, and elderly men being attacked, and even the policemen were killed? There were 5 deaths, and all were Hindus. Does circulation?
One of the homeguard was a Muslim.
Madam, I didn't.
Is a Muslim.
Lord, madam, I respect your seniority. Let me speak. When you were speaking,
I'll come to you, Subhashini, again.
Madam,
you make your point. You make your
let
point.
me respect you, madam. So this yatra had all the permissions. 5 people died. None of these people shed tears. And the selective tragedy tourism continues only when it happens in the BJP
Why do you always call it a tragedy tourism?
Yes,
Whenever
correct.
Muslims are targeted, you say that no, it happened to the Hindus also, and it's a selective tragedy.
Number of crimes are happening in Kerala. Did she ever shed tears? In Bengal, what is happening, madam? What are they doing about Bengal? Why this selective activism? Definitely a crime is a crime. The state has to act. Here, the law of the land is definitely the supreme. We also want people to abide by the law.
You are to this violence in a way that if the other party is doing, then we will also do it. Is that the message you're trying to send?
Nilu, madam, please let me complete. The yatra had all the permissions. If and the videos were circulated from the Muslim side. It was the threatening videos were first circulated from the Muslim side. Nobody is condemning. And second part, if somebody
what about the video circulated by Monu Manesar? No, you tell me. What about the video circulated by Monu Manesar?
See,
And
yes, absolutely.
If anything wrong, they have to be booked. But why selectively target the Muslims?
But they are not being booked. Sriraj, that is the tragedy. The people who are responsible for the circulation of the hate speech videos, the people who are behind the whole incident, they are not being booked. There is no action taken against them.
Let me complete. If you only speak and become like other journalists, then what is going to happen? If Monu Manesar, for that example, anybody might have circulated videos, does this give right to these jihadis to attack the elderly men, children, keep them in temple for hours together? Does that give them right to attack this poor innocent people?
Let me get in a response. Let me get in a response to what you have said from Kirti and Subhashini. Okay, let me come to Subhashini first. Yes, Subhashini, you just heard what Sri Raj had to say. I want you to respond on this, and then I'll go to Kirti. Yes.
What I would like to say is, supposing he is right and the yatra was attacked, okay, and people were killed. So what should happen then? Those who are responsible for the attack must be sent to prison. They must be prosecuted. There's no problem with that. The problem is when you put the blame on an entire community and you start targeting an entire community. When you say we will not allow Muslims to work here, we will not allow Muslims to live here, we will ask them to leave their villages, we will bulldoze their houses, we will not buy from their shops, we will not give them jobs. That is what is wrong. Those people in Gurgaon who were told to leave, they had nothing to do with the yatra. If somebody has indulged in violence, attacked the yatra, certainly you are they are being arrested. They should be arrested. There's no question about that. The question is about attacking an entire community. That Monu's video you talked about, that Bittu Bajrangi, what was his video? He's saying openly, get ready to welcome me. Your brother-in-law is coming. What does that mean? What is he trying to say? And is that not provocation for which he's being punished? What I'm saying is, the point is not some incident of violence. Violence must be punished. It is a question of using such incidents, or even when they don't occur, to target an entire community. You talk about Kerala. Yes, a 5-year-old child was raped and left for dead. But within 12 hours, the perpetrator, the criminal, he was arrested. But in Kerala, they didn't go around shouting, kill all the migrants, throw them all out, don't employ a migrant, don't let them come into Kerala. That would have been wrong. Responsible was arrested. West Bengal is a bad situation. I don't disagree with that. We have been fighting it. We lost people also in the recent elections. We are fighting that kind of violence. But the point is, how do you respond? Due to target an entire community. And what is the result of that? What's happening in Manipur? You are creating a civil war situation in Manipur by targeting communities. This is what is wrong. This cannot be allowed. And this is what is weakening the whole fabric of Indian society.
Right. Kirti, if I may come to you, it's not for the first time that, these kind of hate speech videos have been circulated. There have been many incidents like these which we have seen in the past. Despite whatever the courts have been saying, there is actually no action against the people who are circulating these videos. And this is exactly what you all have written in the letter, which is addressed to the Chief Justice of India. Now, can Chief Justice really do justice in this aspect? That whoever is circulating this hate speech video, he should be booked, put behind the bars. But that's not happening because there is no political will to do that. What will the Chief Justice do?
Well, the Chief Justice can act in individual cases which come in front of him. The Chief Justice can see that the state is not following his directions, and the Supreme Court can actually see that the state is not following the directions. But the courts have to come, the lower courts also have to come down heavily on this, because unless the perpetrators of such dangerous videos are caught and proceeded against swiftly, this is going to go on. And we have seen how from Nuh to Gurgaon, in Nuh also there was a mosque which had been partially demolished. And in Nuh also, they knew that there were provocations. 2 young Muslim boys had been killed by cow vigilantes a few days ago, and so on. So there had been lots of provocations, and there were provocative speeches being made. But forget about that. I'm saying that doesn't justify what happened subsequently, that you target a whole Muslim community, call them jihadis, say get rid of them, treat them like they are termites or something. What are Muslims? They are, as Subhashini said, they are citizens of this country. Are we not ashamed to treat our citizens like this? Will we not protect our citizens who are being treated like this? And will we keep on justifying with what about we? And we are not concerned about, we say that everybody who breaks the law should be proceeded against.
Right.
And but no community should be blamed because some members of some community have killed or hurt somebody.
Absolutely. Right.
So Shivraj, then I won't come back again. I just want to say one more thing, that you don't need to come back again.
Yes.
I want to remind you about what happened in Uttarakhand. See, here we're talking about an attack and all that. What happened in Uttarakhand? Hindu girl was friendly with a Hindu boy, and she was going somewhere with him. He had a Muslim friend. And what happened? Immediately, rumors were spread that Muslim boys abducted a Hindu girl. Muslim shops were attacked. Muslims were made to flee. And the uncle of the girl was saying,
I'm interfering.
I come to Sriraj after this. I'm coming to you. Sriraj, I'm coming to you after this. Let us.
that attack was waged against a whole community. And later on, the people of that area said, please stop. There is no Muslim boy who was abducted this girl.
Sriraj, I'll come to you. Sriraj, don't cross talk. Let her finish. Let her finish. I'll come to you. I'll give you your time to speak.
Yes. But even when there was no attack from one side, this kind of attack on that community was made simply because the boy who was a friend of a girl, both Hindus, had a Muslim friend who was also with him. You make that into an issue where the whole place is shut down for 10 days. Everybody suffers. Muslim shops are closed. Muslims flee the place. And you are calling people from outside, please come, please come, please come and attack these people. I mean, it's just horrible. What do you want to do?
Okay. Now, Sriraj, if I want to ask you, what I want to ask you is, last Sunday, there was a Mahapanchayat in Palwal where this Azad Maurya, the guru, he is saying that, we don't need revolvers, but we need rifles. Now, what is he trying to tell the people? Now, still the provocation continues. Still the videos are being circulated. And this is exactly what the Delhi Women Lawyers Forum has said and pointed out that there is no action on the people against those who are circulating these videos. Why is no action taken? You cannot justify it by saying that, look, there is horror on the other side as well. You'll keep saying that only. Yes, sir.
First of all, the first video which was circulated by a Muslim man, he provoked people. कम से कम 10 से 20 मुस्लिम हिंदुओं को टपका दो और उनको निपटा दो. And that video you are not talking about. 5 to 6 Hindus who were innocent, who had nothing to do.
Why is the BJP? You have a BJP government in Haryana. Why is it not then booking such people? You please book those people.
5 to 6 Hindus who were innocent and had nothing to do with any political party or organizations were killed, including policemen. Now, what about that? And there has to be some anger because this was unprovoked.
What I'm trying to say is that don't you have a BJP government in Haryana? What is the government doing? Why has the government shut its eyes on such people?
Government is doing its work. There are Hindus have been.
If the government was doing its work, then such videos would not have got circulated. The violence would not have got escalated.
See, what will government do with the decisions of Kham Panchayat? The Kham Panchayat are on its own for years together. Kham Panchayats are in existence. And if some decision is taken by the Hindus who are angry, and they have all the right to be angry, how can a yatra be attacked? Do Hindus don't have right to their pilgrimage? So this was one-sided attack. And whatever it is, nobody is blaming any community. But if a decision is being taken by Kham Panchayat, they are locals, they know what has happened actually. They have lost their loved ones, they have been attacked, their temples have been attacked, people were held captive for hours together, that to small children.
But you agree with Mahapanchayats who say that Muslims are not allowed to do their business in our area?
I am nobody to comment on that. In Kham Panchayats, they have their own diktats for so many years. And it's up to individual from where one should buy or one should not buy. Coming back to Kerala, madam is left. In Kerala, recently from the cadres of Muslim League, what they said, they should kill Hindus and hang them in the temple premises. No action was taken. All the problem. Selective activism is the biggest problem.
I really.
Sriraj, you cannot justify by saying that it's a selective.
That's also a big problem.
What did he say?
Okay, one second. Okay, Sriraj, you made your point. Sriraj, you made your point.
It is party like Communist Party which is responsible.
Sriraj, you made your point. Now let me get the concluding comments from Subhashini and Kirti. Kirti, I'll come to you first.
Subhashini and the party the Muslims backward.
Sriraj, you've made your point. Sriraj, you made your point. Sriraj, you made your point. Let me get the concluding comment from Kirti. Yes, sir.
Muslims are turning into liability.
1 minute to
No,
you.
no,
Yes.
this you can't. I do not know what kind of discussion this is, because we have said that you cannot. There were 5 people who were killed in Nuh. We know that. Let us not expand that. There were 2 home guards and 3 others. And you take action against those people who killed them. But we have to recognize that there were provocations. We have to recognize what happened subsequently. And we have to admit that we are going on a path of ethnic cleansing. Our hatred towards Muslims have crossed all bounds, and they are not being looked upon as
Sriraj,
citizens of this country.
Sriraj, we're running out of time.
Please.
Don't cross talk. You made your point. Yes, Kirti, finish your point, then I'll go to Swati.
And some action has to be taken,
Right.
because this is not a safe country for Muslims to live in, for women to live in. And if the law doesn't take its course, we will have far more people like that person who killed 3 Muslims from 3 coaches on the train.
And his superior.
Right.
And his superior.
Right. I'll come to Subhashini now for the concluding comments, and then I'll end the show. Yes, Subhashini? 1 minute.
See, my point again is what I started with, that this is a question of rights of citizens. Are we going to, as a country, Supreme Court, Parliament, government, going to guarantee the rights, implementing Manusmriti in place of the Constitution, and have the government decided that some citizens are more equal than others? And
Backward because for their own political.
Sriraj, I request you
why
not.
are you
Sriraj,
interrupting?
I request you, allow her to speak. Please, you made your point. Yes. Yes, Subhashini.
If some citizens are less equal, then this is going to be a very terrible situation. You know, yesterday the Supreme Court asked the government of Gujarat, why did you release 11 convicts, the ones who are responsible for gang rape and mass murder? You could have released others in the name of overcrowding and giving people a chance. Why them? So these are very important questions, and the gentleman who's representing VHP must also think about them. He is also a citizen here. He has also got his family here, and he has to understand that this kind of society that we are heading towards, in which some are going to be more equal, some are going to be less equal, and you are going to be able to target people and say we can do what we like with you. The rule of law does not apply to us. This is ultimately going to harm every Indian, especially every Indian woman.
And the Delhi Women Lawyers Forum, since they have already written to the CJI, so all eyes would be on what the CJI does, what action it takes against such hate videos, and also against.
What is heartening is that the peasantry around that area, the farmers, they have come out very strongly in favor of secularism and against this kind of hate. They're saying we don't want to have any part of this.
Right. So that's a silver lining there. Thank you so much, Kirti Singh Narula, Subhashini Ali, Sriraj Nair. Thank you so much for joining. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: send us your feedback, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned to the Federal. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.